Hey, Marcus here, sword and sci-fi guy. I randomly came across this knife fighting armor on eBay, and it is something. I'm gonna break down if it would be effective as actual armor. So let's base everything off of one assumption, and that's the assumption that it is cut and thrust resistant armor that could actually stop anything. The good. It has neck protection. The neck's full of little bits that don't really want to be cut, so it kind of reminds me of how the term leatherneck is used for the US Marines, because allegedly they'd wear leather around their necks for protection. But it was actually because they had a leather neck thing on their uniform that kept them upright at attention. Back to the armor. This would be the left hand, and it's mostly protected. That is great. If you're in a knife-fighting duel, then you could take a defensive stance with this arm leading and acting as a shield. It's kind of similar to some gladiator armor. And they're shirtless too. Unfortunately, that is where the good ends. If you dictate that defensive stance, then it would make sense to also fortify the left leg, which would be leading. I think you could lose that shin protector and just armor both thighs, because who's gonna be aiming a knife at your shins? Next red mark, all the pieces are separate. Things kind of have a habit of sliding down your arms if they're not anchored in some fashion, and same with your legs. And lastly, probably the most obvious, literally all of your vital organs are unprotected while wearing this armor. This focuses pretty heavily on artery protection, which is nice, but not at the expense of everything else. I'd be willing to call it a resounding not that good. It's also explosion proof according to the listing. Proof. So that way your shoulders and forearms will be perfectly fine even after a nuke.